Hi, this is Emily. Today I'm going to be making peach pie. Nutritarian style is what I'm attempting. So if this is good, I'm going to post it. If not, I'm not going to post it on YouTube. So starting from left to right, I have rolled oats in this bag sitting kind of in the front. Behind that, I have a bag of whole wheat flour. I'm only going to use the whole wheat flour if I have to. Then in this tall jar, I have soaked dates. They've been soaking overnight, but they really don't need to soak that long, just like maybe a couple hours or so. And then the last thing I have is a container of almond meal or almond flour. So I'm going to put the dates, probably the whole container of almond meal and then some of the oats into the food processor right here, and I'm gonna go from there. Okay, so I've got the dough here. This right here is an olive oil mister. So I put in just a small amount of olive oil onto the pan, onto the pie plate, just to keep it from sticking, because we are going to bake this. So this is about 2/3 of the dough, maybe more like 3/4 of the dough that I made in the food processor, and I'm just going to start pushing it with my fingers. So I'm not going to put a top crust, is basically what I'm trying to say. But it will have kind of a cobbler. You know, with cobbler, you've got pieces of dough like on top. It's going to be like that. So now I'm going to make the filling. So in the dish, I have already put in 1 peach, and then these are chia seeds in here. Probably doesn't look too pretty, but I've just been cutting up peaches, and I put 1 in there already. These are the rest of the peaches. I'm going to throw these in now. Well, looks like I did have enough peaches after all. Was worried I wouldn't have enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this is cinnamon. Okay, China, from China is what it says. So I'm not going to measure this. You really don't need to, okay? You just put some in there. I'm guessing probably a teaspoon or so. You could also put nutmeg, a pinch or 2 of nutmeg. Okay, so I have ginger, nutmeg, and mace. So if you want to put mace, you can leave it out. It's got an extremely strong flavor. I only put just a tiny bit. Seriously, just a very tiny bit. Nutmeg. It tastes really good. So that was probably half of a teaspoon or less. And then for the ground ginger, I'm not a huge ginger fan, so this is probably 1/4 of a teaspoon. If you're into ginger, you could put like half a teaspoon. Okay, and then to sweeten it up, what you need to do is taste these peaches before you put anything on them. As you're chopping them up, taste a couple slices from 2 different peaches, okay? These are not very sweet. If you have super sweet peaches, you don't even have to add any sweetener, okay? Which is really cool. But these are a little bland. So I'm going to put in, since they are a bit on the kind of watery side, I'm going to put in that much. Oh, by the way, this is vanilla cream sweet leaf sweet drops. Okay, it's made out of stevia. You can find this at a health food store, maybe at your local grocery store. I think I'm going to do another one. Do you see how much is in there? Right there. There we go. I'm going to do another one. I'm just worried that it's not going to be edible if I don't put enough. Okay, and then I'm going to take my spatula. Ooh, fruit flies are everywhere. And I'm going to mix this around a little bit. The oven is preheated to 400 degrees for the first phase. Okay, so I put in a tablespoon of chia seeds, and I'm going to put in 1 more tablespoon, so that will total 2 tablespoons. Oops, why did I drop that in there? And I'm going to kind of mix this again. We want the chia seeds to start hydrating, oops, in the peach juice. The chia seeds are going to add a little bit of fat and a little bit of protein to this. You don't have to add 2 tablespoons. You could always just add 1. But the other thing they do is when chia seeds hydrate, they get kind of gummy. And that's kind of a gross sounding word, but they get hydrated and they get kind of gummy-ish. I don't know how else to explain it. Okay, back in the days when I used to eat not so healthy, I used to love to bake, so I'm excited to be baking today. I haven't baked anything in a really long time. I used to make pies and cakes all the time. So this is the leftover dough that I have, and I could flatten this out really thin and lay it on top, you know, and make it like a normal pie. But I'm going to do more of a cobbler because this dough's sticky, and again, I don't want to add any wheat to it. So it's going to be like a cobbler. I'm going to take pieces. This is probably half a tablespoon each, and I'm just going to kind of lay them down in random areas, random spots. And when I go to bake this, I'm going to lay a cookie sheet underneath. So there we go. Like I said, the oven's at 400. I'm going to pop this into the oven with a cookie sheet underneath. It has been 15 minutes baking at 400 degrees. I'm going to check on the pie real quick, and then I'm probably going to turn it down to 350 because we don't want it to bake at 400 the entire time. So let's take a peek really quick. It's looking good. Yeah, but I can tell that the top crust part is gonna burn. So I'm gonna turn it off and then bake 350. So I'm gonna bake it at 350 probably for another 30 minutes. So here it is, the finished product. It baked for another 30 minutes. Actually, I think it was 25 minutes because I checked it 5 minutes early and it was done. I have never baked using stevia before, and I think my advice is maybe use a little less, because I did taste one of the peaches real quick, and while it tastes delicious, it also kind of has that stevia flavor a little more than I would prefer for it to have. But all in all, it seems to taste great. And when this cools off a little more, I will have a piece and let you guys know how it is. Hey, so the pie or the cobbler, whichever one you want to call it, it has cooled a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and taste a full bite of this with some crust and peaches. Mmm. Wow. That is much better than I thought it was going to be. This is a keeper. If you're used to having pie or cobbler that is super sweet, this is not it. I think I was wrong about the stevia. I think I put in enough, not too much. But stevia is not quite as sweet as, you know, white sugar. So, it's not quite that sweet as a, you know, like a regular dessert that you'd find at a dessert shop. But it is sweet by itself anyway. And it's super delicious. And you know what? I think some banana ice cream would go really well with this. So, look at that big chunk of peach and the chia seeds mixed with the dough part, whatever, the pastry part. It's really good. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you try this. It came out really yummy. Okay, bye.